Hey, welcome. Well, hold on. Wait, is it doing again with my mic? Maybe the game is supposed to be a lot louder on that. Let me test something here. Oh, okay. There we go. I think this mic messes up when I first start streaming. I don't know why. There's always something. If you watch the Gundam Explain live show, same thing there. But yeah, let's talk video games. It's been a while. I think I did my 2023 stuff that I really liked. And I haven't really done a video since. I've just been busy because there's kind of an order of operations when it comes to making these videos. It's like I've got my family stuff, I've got work, and then the Gundam Explained, and then whatever else falls under that. Because then I'm also playing video games, so sometimes I'd rather play video games than talk about them. So, man, it's getting hot. The sun's actually coming out now. The sun was not earlier, but um, what to talk about today? So, a couple things actually. So when I sold my video game collection back in like 2018, 2019, I forgot what it was. I figured I'd be able to access anything I needed to, and really that's still true. It was when I was emulating a game for the 3DS called Gundam Battle 3D or the 3D Battle. I had an incredible time playing it emulated, but I wanted to experience the 3D because I've always liked the 3D on a 3DS. I've never thought it was a requirement, but it really helped when I was playing a game and I wanted to be totally immersed into it. The 3D really worked out. So I was like, man, I want to play this Gundam game in 3D. So I was like, well, maybe I need to get a 3DS because I also want to play the old Castlevania games on DS, Alien Infestation. There's a bunch of old DS and 3DS games I used to play a lot that tried emulating. It's not as fun. So yeah, I went on eBay and I picked up a Japanese new 3DS XL. Not only is this the Japanese version, but this also has it where both screens are the IPS displays. So it's basically, this is the most superior version of a 3DS you can get if you prefer bigger over the smaller. But it has IPS panels on both. Hey, what's up, Ian? Good to see you. And it was region free when I got it, and then I further modded it, so I have the collection of DS games I used to own on there. And it's an awesome experience, awesome handheld. It's I think the 3DS it was because of the Switch that the 3DS wasn't really around too much more because you had this other handheld here, but the dual screen thing works. It really does. That's why I'm kind of hoping Switch 2 does a dual screen sort of setup there. But yeah, I've been playing the Gundam 3D battle game. It's a lot of fun. It's just pretty hard because it's all in Japanese. So I don't really understand a lot of like the XP system because you level up not only your mobile suit, but then you level up. The mobile suit has stats that you level up. Each weapon has stats you level up, and you want to like balance it right. And it's hard to kind of figure out what things are. So that, since the last time I streamed one of these, it was the Game of the Year, I've still been on my Metroidvania kick, and I played through and beat Castlevania Symphony of the Night again, and then I went through and beat Rondo of Blood, but getting all the secret paths. That game is awesome. That's the one right before Symphony of the Night, and it's also kind of it's the prequel to Symphony of the Night. The storylines are directly connected, so it was a really cool experience going through both those games, completing them. I'm still trying to get the platinum trophy on, or the whatever they call it on, Symphony of the Night for the PlayStation. There's still some things I have to do, like buy the duplicator ring, which I have to farm. The PlayStation version doesn't have the glitch available for the money, so you have to farm on that. So yeah, it's been a lot of playing Castlevania games. So yeah, I'm on the DS. I'm playing Order of Ecclesia, because that's the one I never beat. That time in my life, with gaming in general. That's why I think I have this kind of yearning to play more 3DS, because that was like when my kids were first born. I was getting married. A lot of life changes were happening. I was like shifting into a career mode type of thing for, my family structure in life, whatever. So I think I played a lot of good 3DS games, neglected some, didn't really get to savor a lot of them. For instance, we've got the announcement of the Sonic Generations remaster that includes some Shadow content that's coming pretty soon. The 3DS had an exclusive Sonic Generations game that is awesome, that you can't play anywhere else, and it does the same type of thing where it makes the classic stages, but in terms of the 3DS for the modern Sonic, it plays like the DS Sonic games did, those faster ones, like Sonic Rush, and some other more modern Sonic games that were side-scrolling. You have a lot of skating around, so... So yeah, it's been fun doing that on there. Yeah, because when it comes to modern stuff, there hasn't been too much... Like, I tried the Prince of Persia game, and it seems great, but it's more of a platformy style system, and the way the mechanics work is, if you're in an area you explore where there's like spikes and platforming and traps, when you hit a trap, it just restarts at the beginning of that area, so that's not bad. But that is a way to explain that's what this game is more based around, is like trap-based platforming when you're exploring, and I'm not really into that. I don't mind jumping around or avoiding traps, but I more want to be fighting enemies and exploring on my own. And that's what, yeah, after playing Symphony of the Night again, I'm like, yeah, Symphony of the Night is still the best of that genre and the way it works. So, yeah, because another thing, on the Switch, I've been playing Metroid Dread, because when I first played it, I didn't like it, so I moved on. I went back to play it because it's like, I feel like I need to finish this, and I'm breezing through it pretty quick. I'm probably going to beat it here quickly. It's super underwhelming. It's not a bad game, but it's not what I'd expect from a Nintendo Metroid. It's, I guess Other M was a little weird, but I mean, it had an atmosphere and a story not found in any other Metroid, so that was unique about it. But when it comes to the gameplay exploration, Dread is... Despite some okay, so the game is very, very linear and handholdy the whole way. Even wherever, any area you are in the game is arbitrary. It's like, has a random name to it. The designs are very random. Nothing has any contextual notability to it to be like, okay, this is a science lab, or this is this part of the alien world. Like, there's too much of that going on in the game that it lacks an identity. And it's funny, because what makes the game then challenging for people that wouldn't be good at these games is that they make a lot of hidden walls that you have to shoot. That sometimes you can't advance because you have to try to find where to shoot the wall. But I think it's like the game is so streamlined in its design that I can go anywhere and be like, oh, this is what they want me to do. This is what they want the player to do. So as I'm playing, it's like, I know what they're... So they made the game to be a little easy and handhold, to kind of get a wider appeal, because the Metroid games haven't necessarily ever really sold well. That's why they're not made by Nintendo. They're actually made by a third-party studio. In this case, it's a studio that did Castlevania, and then even that didn't last too long. And, I don't want to talk bad about them because they're a great developer. They make good games, but they don't make games at a level of a Nintendo game or a Konami game. It's more of the third-party, like Lost Planet 3. You'll get a Western developer to make this game, and then it's just okay. So I still want to beat it, though, because I'm actually nearly done with it, but it's very interesting how underwhelming that was. And I guess the Metroid Prime 4, though, was being made by Retro Studios, but I would say as cool as Metroid Prime is, that's still another one where I thought, okay, this is just Nintendo doing a first-person game, and it has its own charm to it. But again, it's Retro Studios. They're a great developer, but it's not a Nintendo game. I still, even with Zero Mission and Fusion, Super Metroid still has the most deliberate world map design and it's not hand-holdy. Yeah, anyway, that's my soapbox there for the Metroid games. And then, yeah, another thing actually on the 3DS is then I went to play the remake of Return. What was it? The Samus 2, Metroid 2, Return of Samus. I forget what it's called. Anyway, that same developer made a remake that came out in 2017 on the 3DS. It actually plays exactly like Metroid Dread. You could tell it's the same developer. And it makes me think, it almost seems like this Metroid Dread was actually going to be made as a 3DS title. Maybe the idea was, oh, we'll just port it to Switch because they're not too dissimilar in a lot of ways, especially like angled shots that occur. When I see it on the Switch, it's like, oh, that would look good in 3D. Anyway, yeah, very interesting going down this Metroidvania path again after doing the whole beat 'em ups earlier last year. But let's see. Okay, so when it comes to a modern game that I've been playing that what's it called? Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I don't normally play the Yakuza games, but I played the original Shenmue and Shenmue 2. I really liked Shenmue. Shenmue had for me the right balance of being a video game based on systems and mechanics and then giving story. Once we got to Shenmue 2 and then 3, it was more heavily focused on story, game mechanics second, and that seemed to be what I got out of the little that I've played of Yakuza games or Lost Judgment. It's the mechanics second. It's driven by the narrative mostly, and that's fine. I know people like that stuff, but I've heard so much about Infinite Wealth. Like, it has a Crazy Taxi game in it. It has the Spike Out arcade game from Sega in it, and that kind of brought me back to playing Shenmue. That was so awesome when I played that when it first came out. So I've been playing it, and the thing is, yes, it's very story heavy right up front. Some of it was really charming, and I was actually interested in listening to it. And after a while, I was like, yeah, okay, I want to play more. The thing is, it has a turn-based action system instead of a real-time combat system, but I don't mind because when enemies attack, you still have the option to block if you time the block right. So to me, that's pretty fun because the fighting is so quick, even though it's turn-based. It's like you press what you want to do attack, and then you do the attack. It's like it's almost like you're button mashing. And then after you do that, they come run at you, and then you could. So it's interesting how it's almost like a way they simplified the action. But I'm just a little disappointed they did that because it was Virtua Fighter that kind of started their 3D combat system that then Shenmue evolved and added the QuickTime events, and then that's what was the Yakuza series after that was kind of the Shenmue combat system. But in Infinite Wealth, I want to get to that point where you're on the island and you're building up your own island and everything. There's like a lot of cool gamey stuff I want to do in it, and it looks fantastic. So I bought the Xbox version because it is cross-play, play anywhere, Xbox and PC. I thought that would be the best for me since I want to be able to play games like on my couch, but then also on my handhelds. ROG Ally, I could play Infinite Wealth on there. I actually haven't tried it, so I'll need to try that out. Because I'll play on my PC every once in a while, but if I don't have to, I won't. And that's the thing with this Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. It looks and runs amazing on Xbox. Can't wait to see what it looks like on my PC. But for that game, it's not really about the looks, even though that does help. The graphics are really good. And then let me think if there's anything else. Yeah, the Switch is upstairs. I was looking to see what I had loaded on it. Yeah, I don't think anything from Steam or Epic Store. I played that Castlevania Grimoire of Souls on Apple Arcade for a month straight, and then because I was doing my dailies, and I saw, oh wow, but the store's broken, and Konami replied and said they're going to take a look at it, and people on Reddit was talking about it, so right now it's very grindy because I can't do the other systems that you use with the store because there's no microtransactions in the Apple Arcade version. You're already given the currency you use. It's more of like you just use the store as a means to further upgrade your character, and I haven't been able to utilize that. So, yeah, I'm just gonna kind of wait on that. What are some other things we could talk about? Because yeah, I've gone almost a month without talking games, and the games are always on my mind to talk about. One thing is, so we've already gone through January of 2024. And I think it's been strong in terms of the types of games coming. I mean, even though I don't care too much about that Prince of Persia right now. One day I might get to it. That's a strong game to come out in January. And then I think PlayStation had that State of Play, and then there was that Silent Hill game they dropped. I don't know too much about it. I heard about that. I'm not into horror games too much because they don't scare me anymore like they used to. I used to love to play those types of games. I mean, even Doom 3 did a good job of that. And then just I think over time, once I'm used to seeing computer graphics, I guess, or something, it's not as it doesn't do much. State of Play stuff. You know what? There was nothing too interesting out of that State of Play. Yeah, sure. Death Stranding 2. I didn't really get too much into the first one, although I kind of want to, but it's again a long, lengthy grind, and I don't know if I want to spend my time doing that. But Death Stranding 2 looks cool, and then he's working on another game. Good for him. I like that he was able to leave Konami. There again, talking about Konami, same thing happened with Igarashi. His name, the guy that made Castlevania, he left Konami, started making the Bloodstained games, and they're working on another one. But it'll be interesting to see what his next game is, and then, well, I wonder if I should change topics yet. So real quick, there was that Stellar Blade that actually looks awesome. I heard it's an open world game, and it's a character action game on PlayStation. To me, that's so awesome that Sony has this like exclusive character action game that's not a narrative driven game. I'm pumped for that. Can't wait to get it. I'll probably get that day one and play it. I bet it'll be good. Let's see. Yeah, so there's something else that happened at the State of Play because we saw a lot of like, PC, where these games are coming out on PC also. I don't know about Stellar Blade, but there's a lot of other games. And, that's what Sony has to do. And that's what they have been doing. Like the Spider-Man games, God of War, Horizon. These are on PC. And they're putting the other ones on PC too. Because this whole big thing's been going on. With Xbox, they did their layoffs recently. And apparently they accounted for people that worked on physical media distribution. I don't know how true that is. But it looks like Microsoft's plans moving forward are just to be completely digital, no physical media. Which, Personally, I don't care. I know there's a lot of people that want their physical media, want to be able to hold on to that, and I get that. That's too bad. I made peace with not having all this physical stuff that was really not my thing. I thought I wanted to collect video games, but it was because it was the only way for me to play them. I didn't feel comfortable having them surround me. Even right now, I don't have too much stuff. Like I have some Gundams back here, some over there, but I have blank walls and stuff because I don't like too much of that. So, like I talked about before, selling my video game collection, I've been able to play games if I needed to. I went ahead and rebought a 3DS, and digital games are on here. So I understand people that want to collect physically, because at the end of the day, I have not been able to come across a game that I can't play. There's always a way to play any game I am trying to play, and I'd rather these games not be that we don't rely on the platform holders to make the game playable. For instance, games so like there's that Deadpool game Activision made. It's been delisted, you can't buy it anywhere. But you can download it and play it. Download the ROM or whatever. This is how it's always going to be. A lot of times we kind of look at, we should have them as physical so we always have a way to play them. Well, that's going to deteriorate. That in itself is only valuable because it is a material physical object. If the experience you want is to play a game and you want to preserve playing a game, that's always going to... If a game is accessible digitally, it has then become part of that whole world where you can just download any game you want to play. I mean, I've been doing that. The 3DS on my computer recently, I was able to check out the Japanese-only 3D Gundam game on the 3DS. I was able to load a 3DS emulator, play the game. In that case, the only reason I bought a 3DS is because, my computer can't do 3D. There might be a way to emulate that in the future. Right now, we can't. I buy the hardware, and this doesn't take up a lot of space. So that's what's cool about that. But it's Yeah, just anytime. Ever since I've sold my video game collection, I have been able to go back and play any game I needed to. And I know a lot of people like to talk about the legality of it, but I don't think people understand once something is abandonware, you're free to play it however you want. If no one has been sued for that yet, because there really is no legal grounds for you wanting to play a game that's not available. If that was taken to court, that would open up a whole can of worms to then establish new regulations for companies that are distributing games. The reason these companies aren't touching that is because they want to keep it kind of ominous in this sort of like area of, oh, should I do it? Should I not? Is it illegal? Is it not? It's better that it stayed like that instead of actually going through the legal system and then them dictating, yes, people are allowed to do this and that. Because I've seen I've read articles, watched videos of lawyers saying like they would love to get a case like this. Because usually the only times these big companies win is if it's like IP infringement. They're losing money. If they can prove they're losing money. So for me, I'm all about game preservation. We don't need consoles anymore. We don't need all the worry about physical. When these things are made, they're made digitally, just like film, just like movies. These movies, when they're in projectors at a movie theater, they're no longer the reels. They are a CD, an SD card, maybe even cloud streamed. But people can rip that content, and people have, and people do, and we're able to play games. So I think we're wasting our time when talking about awesome video games when we're complaining about this move to that, because you're going to always have companies like Limited Run Games that are going to know where they can make money off of physical media, do a licensing deal with Konami. Limited Run has been able to do that with companies like Konami, get physical versions of games being made, even old games, new games. I don't think it's anything we got to worry about. So, oh man, I wore myself out talking, but that was a lot of fun. I had to just get that all off my chest. That and the games I've been playing. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So that might be it for this episode. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, something I can mention actually. Just real quick, because it's video game related, is I got the Symphony of the Night album, and it was a pre-order, finally came in. It sounds fantastic. Love it. Every song on this is good. So that's like a little video game related thing I did. One thing I thought was pretty neat, I found a little charging dock for this that I have placed down next to my Switch and ROG Ally. This was a used 3DS, and it's not that noticeable. There's some damage on this bottom shell, and then on Amazon, I ordered another one that's going to come, and then I can just replace this with. That's pretty nice. So it looks brand new. Yeah, I think that's about it. I wanted to talk about games so much. Sometimes it goes only like 23 minutes, and it's like, I said what I need to for now. It's when if you have other guests that it gets longer, because then other people are talking. So I guess that's it. I guess I'm just trying to figure out if there's anything else I missed. Because through the day, that's how I should do it. Actually, let me talk this out. I'm going to workshop this real quick. Sometimes throughout the day, I have so many gaming thoughts. Should I just open my phone real quick and be like, "Hey guys, Blue Gamer, Adam here, blah, 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 blah," and then post it? Oh, that might be a new way of trying things. I'll try that out. Anyway, guys, I'm going to head out. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a good weekend, good week. Let me know what games you're playing by commenting down below. We'll talk later.